Let us listen to the leader of the opposition and the MP for Miku South, Mr. Alan Chastanet, when he called the broadcast on Monday of this week.
A couple of weeks ago, there was a gentleman from One Repo, that's Miku, was involved in a car accident. And as a result of the accident, both his legs were amputated. And he was at OKEU for a couple of weeks. And over this weekend, he was released from OKEU. And on the same evening of him being released, he passed away. What is so alarming to me is that the representative for Miku North is now the Minister for Disabilities. And maybe even more importantly, he himself, before the election, was involved in an accident which resulted in the amputation of one of his legs. And I remember very distinctly being on conversations with the then leader of the opposition, calling me with regards to Jeremiah's condition and the extent that we went to facilitate Jeremiah being able to get to Martinique, arranging a helicopter. Luckily, there was some insurance involved, but we certainly went to every length that we could go to facilitate a quick transition for him to Martinique. And if you remember, he stayed clearly a couple of months in Martinique while he was recovering.
You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie?
So we've been reintroduced to that song, released in 1977, primarily because reference was made to it by the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and the leader of the parliamentary opposition, Mr. Philip J. Pierre. The only thing he did, I won't say he lied, but he made an error in attributing the lyrics and the song to the Mighty Sparrow, song performed there by Lord Nelson. And he went on to introduce the MP for Miku North, who is also the minister with responsibility for persons with disabilities, because he wanted the individual in question to refute the statement that was made by the leader of the opposition.
Jeremiah will tell you the truth. 5 minutes for Jeremiah to explain to you what you heard on Newspin that is not true. Jeremiah.
We did everything within our power to ensure that Jeremiah went to Martinique. You hear lies? I will tell your brothers and sisters, on that bed in Tapion, I remember Philip J. Pierre, Ernest Hilaire, and the other, Sean Edward, and the other members of the St. Lucia Party. They rallied around me. They ensured through private means and other means that I was sent to Martinique. At no time did anybody from the UWP come and give me any kind of assistance.
We are dealing with the truth today, not lies. I hope I will not be hearing from any pathological liar. We have a call in line. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Team.
Good afternoon.
Team, I've been trying for how many days? I'm happy to open the batin today. Am I the first caller?
You are the first caller, sir.
Thank you very much, Team. Team, nobody looked at Jeremiah as the candidate for Labour Party. And today you can turn around and make these statements that are lies rather than show appreciation for what was done. The government didn't have to do that. And so for Jeremiah now, for cheap political reasons, to stand in a public forum and spew these kinds of lies, tell you how ungrateful. I don't care if Alan Chastanet was Prime Minister when he did that, or if he was not Prime Minister. There is something about us as humans. When we are in a state of suffering, when our life depends on the situation that we are, that at least you can reflect and put politics aside and show gratitude for what was done. Now, people will want to label it and say, oh, Alan Chastanet, he didn't have to say that about Jeremiah. But at least show gratitude, show something that you feel for people. Because the Labour Party is like a cult. There is an orientation. I don't know what blood they drink when they get inside there, but there is something fundamentally wrong with people when they become members of this Labour Party, who would do things, they would lie about anything, they would lie about everything.
Minister Jeremiah Norbert is setting the record straight on claims made by the opposition United Workers' Party about financial assistance he allegedly received for his medical expenses after a 2021 motorcycle accident. Speaking ahead of Monday's cabinet meeting, he insisted that his insurance company covered his costs and that he continues to personally settle any outstanding bills.
Today is exactly 1 week shy. Today is the 10th, so today is exactly 7 days shy of my accident in 2021. So in 7 days it would be exactly 4 years since I suffered that accident. And truth be told, I understand that in politics people may want to fire a chip shot here and there, but you can only understand and appreciate what I would have gone through if you go through it yourself.
Soon to mark 4 years since a life-changing incident, Parliamentary Representative for Miku North, Minister of Crime Prevention and Persons with Disabilities, Jeremiah Norbert, has been placed in a position to defend himself against claims regarding financial assistance he allegedly received in 2021. At Monday's pre-cabinet press briefing, Norbert noted that about 5 months before the last general elections, he was involved in a devastating motorcycle incident that resulted in the amputation of one of his legs. He explained that this accident was both an emotional and financial blow, which he maintains was settled without the amounts allegedly given to him by the current opposition. In setting the record straight, Norbert recounted what transpired from the very day of the incident, detailing each expense he incurred and how it was paid for. Additionally, he stated that his prosthetics were paid out of his pockets and that outstanding bills are still being paid by him to this date.
I have with me a receipt from Tapio to the tune of in excess of $70,000, and that expense was covered by my insurance, my personal insurance, Nagico insurance, and I made my co-payment. The ambulance that transported me from Tapio to VG, I have with me a receipt where Jeremiah Norbert would have paid for that ambulance. The air ambulance that took me from St. Lucia to Martinique, the fee was, I think, €5,400, or equivalent about a little over 17,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. My insurance again settled that bill along with my co-payment. In Martinique, my bill was in excess of €23,000, just a little over 92,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. That bill as well was settled in part by my insurance, and to date, I can tell you that I, Jeremiah Norbert, is still paying part of that bill. So now you understand what happened from, and in the bill, my bill that in Martinique, nowhere on the bill did I see minus 10,000 or minus any amount because somebody else made a payment. No.
Leaked WhatsApp messages allegedly exchanged between then Prime Minister Alain CHASTANET and opposition leader Philippe J. Pierre, dated between February 17th and 19th, 2021, is what led Norbert to present his receipts. According to Norbert, these messages insinuate that the United Workers' Party administration arranged for his transfer to Martinique and made an EC $10,000 contribution towards his medical expenses.
The conversation out there is, it was not said in direct terms, but we would have facilitated Jeremiah, and we made a helicopter available for him. And to make it seem that when I made a statement to say that I did not receive any assistance, especially financially, through the then government, to make it seem like I was saying something that was untrue, is the furthest from the truth. And I said whilst I was in Martinique, as they went further to say I spent a few months in Martinique, and whilst I was in Martinique, as if to imply that I was being, he didn't say directly, but if you look at the way the statement was made, it was made in a way to suggest that I spent a few months in Martinique and that my stay was facilitated by the then government. And truth be told, I don't know that this government currently or any government prior knows how I facilitated my medical bills. And as I would have told you today, I can admit to you that I'm still making payments towards part of my bill in Martinique.
Norbert has categorically denied this, asserting that the only arrangement made was to facilitate airport clearance given this occurred during the pandemic, something he says would be granted to any St. Lucian in need.
That is what the government would be mandated to do for any ordinary citizen at the time. And so that is what the government would be required to do for anybody who was living in the state who found it was not any special circumstances where I received anything special for Jeremiah. No, but the government, the only way you could have left the state at the time was you had to go through certain protocols, and the government was the ones who facilitated the protocols in terms of giving you the space and the clearance for you to be able to live.
Screenshots of the conversation have since gone viral on social media, but Norbert stated that he could not validate its authenticity.
Well, I am not the Prime Minister, so I cannot tell you. I am not Philippe J. Pierre, I cannot tell you. All I can tell you is if indeed the conversation, if indeed there is any sort of truth to the conversation between the two individuals at the time, there is nothing wrong in the Prime Minister, and if you have a private conversation, there is nothing wrong in any of them having conversations about what assistance could have been given to me, but is what followed the conversation.
Central to the matter for Norbert is the impact this has had on his family, who are confronted with what he says is misinformation about a difficult period in his life.
As I said, I really don't want to have to address this matter again, because it's a personal matter for me and my family. And I have children, and these are the things I tell people that you have to be mindful of.
He stated that promises could be made, but there is no guarantee to receive them, and in this case, he did not receive any financial assistance from the then government.